Hello friends, welcome back to Value Vintage Cards. Wanted to spend some time on this video just talking 1936 options. So I'm a big fan of 30 sets outside of the traditional, 33, 34 Goudey and 35, 6 Realm Diamond Stars. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time just looking at some different options. So kind of kicking it off, diving in, there's going to be a few different sets I cover here. So not deep dive on any of them, but just kind of giving you some options as to what else is out there in the 30s. So when you look at the National Chicle fine pen, and you'll see why it's called fine pen compared to some other things out there. Very neat set, really, from the perspective of you get some unique pictures. You actually get, I just got this one in. This one's really neat. I'm a big Bill Dickey collector of that era. I feel like I kind of pick players from different eras. If anyone else is like that, I don't just like camp down on one guy, but within eras, I kind of collect a couple different players. And Bill Dickey's, great story, great player, but also definitely affordable. So when you're trying to get examples from different sets, he's a good one. But this one has Dickey and Hank Greenberg on it, which Hank Greenberg cards tend to get pretty expensive. So maybe Dickey brings the cost down on this one, but this wasn't very expensive at all. Ungraded. Reputable seller. Back is pretty crushed. He had his original price on there. I got that for actually quite a bit less than that even. Looks like it was probably in a scrapbook at some point, but it's not a postcard back. It's just a cool image. And then Hornsby actually was very affordable too. To get Hornsby cards for under $100 is pretty awesome. I mean, obviously it's graded a 1, but so what? Presents really well. Again, actually the back on that one's clean for the goal of being blank. Some wrinkles and creases and whatnot, but oh well, that's what you get, right? And then this one you get Lefty Grove. So it's a 2. Definitely all three of those, kind of 4 of these players are people I tend to collect and enjoy the history of who they are and how significant they were within the sport. So I think that one came out. Very nice example, and again, as you'd expect on a 2, the back is pretty boringly clean. So neat features though. They're all black and white. They're all pretty much unique images, not things you see recycled 4 or 5 times. And they have the little autograph signature type thing there. So that is considered a fine pen set. So this is the R313 as it's been designated. There's well over 100 cards in most of these sets that I'll go through today, which is interesting in terms of set collecting. Not only are they hard to find, but when you get into 100 plus, you're talking some big stars generally, and you're also talking some commons that I tend to steer away from that. So it's cool if you just want an example of what the card looks like. But as you go through these, especially in 1936, these are really, really affordable. I think this entire setup that I just set out here was maybe $100 plus shipping. Pretty crazy how affordable they can get. And this is considered a R314 for designation if you're doing a search and trying to track some of these down. This is a Goudey wide pen. So you go from fine pen to wide pen. So really just the signature is a little bit thicker, but still has the kind of that facsimile signature included with it, but just cool images too. So again, that one's reused quite a bit, especially the modern cards. I feel like kind of use that Bill Dickey image. But that's one that, unique, neat image. They are, again, like postcard size, blank back. So nothing crazy to that. Paul Wiener, and then the last one's Frankie Frisch, player manager, switch hitter. So many players back then. I mean, it wasn't nearly the statistical craze, but I mean, 2,800 plus hits. So you kind of wonder, had he hit 3,000, would he be just revered in a whole different way within the sport? But 2,800 and change for a switch hitter with over a 300 average at second base is pretty legit. So that's 2 of the sets. I'm going to jump in with 2 others. That's actually the regular Goudey, which I'll be honest, up until, YouTube and Facebook, I don't know if I knew that existed growing up. I don't think I ever saw one of those. 36 Goudey. It's a very small set. There's only 25, I believe, in that set. So everything else has over 100 in it. So the other sets are pretty big and exhausting. 36 Goudey, much smaller set. No huge mega card in it, which is also a little bit different. So I think you've got maybe there might be a Greenberg and, you know, Wayner and Cochran and some of those, you know, Lefty Gomez type guys might be in there, but you're not talking any of the big monsters. You're done with Ruth era. Gehrig is not included. You're into DiMaggio era, but standard 36 Goudey. You know, I wanted to have one as an example because that's just one of the things I do is I'd like to get one from every set if possible. And then this I don't have a whole lot from either. That's a 36 Goudey Premium. So I believe that set has 2 DiMaggios, one where he's by himself with a different uniform number, which is super cool. I've got a friend that's got one of those. Neat card. Would love to have that at some point. And then the other option for a DiMaggio is this, which I kind of looked at this as a way to double dip and get myself a McCarthy card along with DiMaggio. So still obviously very, very youthful. Usually you start looking at DiMaggio cards and you figure it's kind of that, 38 Goudey is generally regarded as his rookie, but he's got several issues that are a little less mainstream, a little less mass, distributed prior to that, that people tend to not regard. And maybe it's the size of the card too. So this one is obviously enormous. So that's in an enormous PSA slab, but super, super cool. Back, again, is just a blank back. So nothing crazy to that, but just a really cool image. That's definitely, a little bigger investment card as well, but not crazy. Less than his 38 Goudey by far. And that's a pretty clean example, being a 3. So nothing wrong with that. The last set that I'm going to show you is actually the set that made me want to do this. It's probably my favorite issue from 36, notwithstanding the Joe DiMaggio card that's just super cool. Worldwide Gum, so it's a Canadian issue. Again, I believe you're looking at 134 cards, maybe 135 cards for the set. This one, I think, and you'll hear this throughout all the videos if you watch, more than 2 at any point. You'll notice I'm a big fan of images. Is it a unique image? Is it something that's kind of cool and rare and not the exact same as everything else that's been issued? Let me bump in and get my 4th guy in there too. So I've got 4 of those. So not huge. Obviously, I'm nowhere near collecting the set. And this one does have a DiMaggio. If my DiMaggio was in this, I would probably sell it and buy a Mercedes instead. It's an enormous dollar card. So I believe there's a couple actually in auction right now as I record this, and they're 5 figures and running. I don't think they'll hit 6 figures, but they're definitely way into 5 figures in pretty much any condition. So those are outside the realm of where I'm looking to be. But these are in the affordable range. I believe the Grove was a decent investment. But the images of these are super, super cool. It's just things you tend to not see. Again, Canadian issue. Some of these have only a few sales when you look at auction houses and PSA and different sources. Picked up the Bill Terry. You will, if you watch the videos, even though I'm not doing a player focus, you will absolutely see, Bill Dickey's been repeated already. Lefty Grove has been repeated already. Bill Terry might not have been in this one, but he's definitely been in other videos already. So all people I collect pretty significantly. I think this Luke Appling, that's, how cool is that? He's not even in a baseball uniform. He's, I don't know, getting ready for nowadays I'd say a press conference. Back then, I don't know, dinner, just leaving the game. So such cool images. The other thing that's neat about these, as opposed to being kind of the blank back, is you get a nice write-up, and as I joke, you get it in American and Canadian because you get English and French all in the same, and without even factoring in the U.S. distribution and whatnot. Obviously, in Canada, both languages are important, so very, very cool to see the English write-up and then the French write-up right below it. And honestly, the ink just feels, that's a 2 grade. So when I look at a 2, I feel like most of the cards when there are 2, it's almost hard to read. This is like fresh newspaper print kind of clarity. It's really, really neat just how vibrant that is. So there's your Bill Terry. So the Bill Terry, also neat, manager and first baseman. How's that for a dual position? So really, really just fun. I think I left Lefty Grove out. Let me get him tossed in there as well. That's a nice condition one. That was a Facebook buy at least a year ago. Robert Moses, Lefty Grove. But yeah, having the write-up being English and French, they really make use of the entire back for sure. But I just think that's super cool. Worldwide gum. Those definitely sell at a little bit of a premium. Like I said, some of these I showed today are $15, $20 cards, even though they're pushing 90 years old. So what a cool opportunity to get, and they're all Hall of Famers. I didn't show anybody that's common or unknown. They're all Hall of Fame caliber players. So pretty neat options. The Worldwide Gum is definitely one of the sets that I'll be looking to add a few cards in the next, many years as I continue collecting. And hopefully that presents something that might be new to folks, especially when you're looking at 30s and looking at some of those alternative sets. I think I gave you a few options for 1936 alone. So hopefully that's fun. I will see you guys on the next video, and wishing everyone a good day. Take care.